Hello everyone, welcome to Low Ink Day 2 of July 2020. I'm Astro and I'm joined here with you guys by Popcorn as well.
Hello.
And we're going to bring you some good squid action here today, everyone. So we are actually going to be streaming for the most part our top 16 alpha bracket from day 1. So these are some of the best teams from the showing on the first day. So we'll see how things pair out. We're going to start out here with, if I am correct, it's going to be Avalanche versus OctoInkers. So Avalanche seeded 8 and OctoInkers seeded 9. Actually, clearly performed pretty similarly yesterday. Popcorn, you were there yesterday, correct?
I was around yesterday, keeping an eye on a distance. Avalanche is making their first appearance in Top Cut. OctoInkers, this is their second. In fact, this Top Cut as a whole, 8 teams are making their first appearance, which would be Aloptic, Symphony, Mukuna, Radiance, Port Rakume, what did we say, Supa? Is that where we were going to go with that? And then some Japanese characters, which we Google translated to maps and modes. 8 teams that are making their return appearance. Squid Knights, this is their 3rd appearance. West Broderick Gorillers and Persistence, this is their 4th each. OctoInkers 2nd, Xanadu 2nd, The Bunnies 2nd, Takedown 2nd, and then the Old Man team in Top Cut, making their 6th appearance, Revitalize. Now, one last thing to note. This is the 4th time we've done the top 16 as opposed to the top 8. Since we've switched to top 16, the number 1 seed is a whopping 2-4 in matches. If you break that down in games, that means they've only won 7 games and have lost 14 times. So if you're the number 1 seed Squid Knights, you're probably cursed from this tournament on. But we're looking at number 8 and number 9 right now. And we're going to go to Rainmaker at Arowana Mall. Astro OctoInkers was on stream yesterday. They ran more of a traditional comp. Avalanche, I recognize some of these players, mainly Custom, formerly of Comeback, but not too sure what to expect out of Avalanche.
Yeah, I do recognize Custom as well. He's been around the scene for quite a while. Arowana Mall, despite it being Rainmaker, actually a bit of a more traditional comp with your traditional backliner may not hurt them so much on this map, despite it being Rainmaker. So, to those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, typically in Rainmaker, Rainmaker tends to be one of, if not the fastest modes in the game. To those of you who are just joining us here for the first time, may not know much about the game. So, oftentimes you may not even need a very, very slow weapon like a backline or an anchor or even too much support in Rainmaker. So it really all just falls down to the map and mode, and here we have a very slow map where range really can be king.
Yes, so I don't think we'll see 3 Sploosh 7s like we saw at one point yesterday for Rainmaker on the same team. I would expect to see some Stingrays. We see one coming out from the side of OctoInkers and an anchorless comp coming out for the side of Avalanche, but does have a little bit of range with the H3 and the Forge Pro.
Oh yeah, both trains actually working with just a little bit of range there. The Stingray coming out on the opener, that's actually going to be possibly 2 down on both sides, but no, so that is 3 down actually for Avalanche, so a nice early push right here. Nice opportunity. Avalanche is going to go ahead and take it on to the left and try to push it as far as they can, and that choke point right there is actually going to be one of the hardest points in the map to push right through.
Yes, getting past that little gates of heck right there is extremely difficult to do. But you see, OctoInkers comp is set up more to play defense with that Stingray going on there. So now that they got this, it's not exactly a huge lead on this map, but it's going to be a hard lead to overcome with this faster comp that Avalanche is pulling out here, even though we still got 4 minutes left to go.
Yeah, you saw they actually popped all their specials together in unison. Now, you do want to pop your specials together as a team, but not necessarily at the same time. Different specials lead in different ways on different parts of maps. So, popping a Stingray with an Inkjet, Stingray is going to force opponents to move, but the Inkjet, if it doesn't capitalize, it's a wasted special. Nice pick right there. Beautiful direct, actually. You see the Inkjet coming out again, and another pick, so that's 2 down on the side of OctoInkers. So Avalanche have a nice opportunity. That's 3!
Yes, you see the H3 starting to pop off here, creating space and getting the nice picks they need to get this push going as they try to add to their lead here. OctoInkers have been trouble, but you see Jack try that gets past that very critical choke point, and with 8 remaining, and one player down, this Stingray's last player alive, they might get the KO here.
Oh, you got it. It's 3. Just get in the bubble, get in the bubble. Oh.
There we go. So 3 down, but once again, this push is not done. If OctoInkers can find a way, and they do not. OctoInkers relying heavily on the Stingray. You saw 3 coming out in the first minute and a half, but the Stingray combined with all your teammates dying isn't really going to work out that well.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's something that we learned very early on with the game, with the Stingray nerfs that took place about a year ago, if I remember correctly, is that having your backline underextend so far away from your team to get Stingray wasn't really viable anymore, because the Stingray isn't as much of a game changer as it used to be. So you're just kind of watching your team go into a 3v4 and hoping that they come out on top while you charge up your Stingray for support. But your Ray, really, it's meant to displace opponents. It's not going to be your main source of kills like it used to be with the GG Ray. So unfortunately, that caused them to play just a little bit too slow, especially for Rainmaker. And Avalanche coming out on top, they took good advantage of it and just screamed right through that choke point.
Yes, and how am I saying this? My nizzle with the H3. I don't know if you saw the stats or not, but that person had not even gotten a rank in Rainmaker. So either the player's personal Smurf account or something, but getting a lot of kills with that H3 as we move on to Clam Blitz at Black Belly Skate Park.
Now, this is definitely going to be a much faster map. Black Belly is one wipe can possibly be game over in both Clam Blitz and Rainmaker. You're not very far from the center of the map every time you respawn. There's going to be a lot of picks.
As we go ahead and ready up here, we're going to see if Avalanche continues to keep this snowball rolling here with an anchorless comp, and yes, they do, with bringing out a that is OctoInkers electing to bring out the Bamboo and the Tri-Slosher, a very popular pick for this map is the Tri-Slosher, especially since the buff it got in the most recent patch. And for the side of Avalanche, doesn't look like they're changing their comp at all. You know, if it's not broke, why fix it?
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing something just a little bit more experimental here coming up from OctoInkers. They're going to have to play very, very fast to make that comp work. The Bamboo is going to need that. Oh, another pick. That bomb. Oh, really well-placed bomb just where it needed to be. And Genesis comes up with a really important pick right there, possibly to take out the Clam.
Yes, and as you see, this is usually a map where whoever controls the tower controls the entire map, but neither team really has a weapon that can be used to camp out on that tower there to kind of gain control of things. As you see, My Nizzle on the H3 trying to get control of the enemy pipe there so that they can get a push going with this one power clam they have ready.
Yeah, the Bamboo can theoretically do a good job holding mid, but unfortunately for the Bamboo, his team hasn't been able to push through and set up with him following through in a way that allows him to set up in mid. It hasn't happened once so far this match, and that's actually 3 down right there on the side of OctoInkers, so Avalanche are going to go ahead and put in 2 power clams and possibly more. Here come the bubbles, another pick, but not before OctoInkers come back and are able to put a quick stop to this push.
Yes, and there's a lot of clams underneath the basket, but Avalanche wasn't able to pick them up in time, but with most of their players still alive, they're not going to leave this basket here. They're going to keep the fight going on, just wait for the basket to lower back down and keep this push going.
Well, unfortunately, you saw right there, actually staying under the basket was a little bit of an overextending situation. The rest of his team was in mid, trying to gather clams and trying to play around objective, and unfortunately for him, it got him picked. Oh! It's a nice trade right there. Good job getting the trade for re-7-ax? Re-tax?
The IGNs in this lobby. They get you there. Let's see. So we've reached just about halfway point now. Looks like OctoInkers does control a good chunk of the clan economy here with 2 power clams, but 2 players going down immediately. And with the last 2 players alive having the power clam, Avalanche knows exactly where they are, and that's where you see Custom exploding that inkjet immediately. And the push will go to the side of Avalanche, who has already eliminated their penalty points and has plenty of clams to keep this basket open longer.
Yeah, the way that push actually took place makes me wonder if you have some people not in voice chat in OctoInkers, or some people muted or something right there, just putting a little bit of a hold on their communication, because what happened there, you had 2 people looking forward straight at mid while their teammates went down on the right side in pipe, and when they went down, Avalanche just screamed forward with their bubbles, and the 2 people looking at mid didn't even respond or move.
So about 1:40 left to go here. OctoInkers once again with a lot of clams, but once again, as they go with their clams, 2 players immediately go down. So Avalanche make that 3. Avalanche now in a position to do yet another push, but then they lose 2 players immediately. But with a power clam formed here, it looks like they will be able to get a pop here on the basket. But are they in position to keep more points going? It looks like they are. And that quite possibly might be able to find a way to get a KO here. They do have enough clams to do just that, and they're getting the picks necessary. The Tri-Slosher coming back in from spawn, but it won't be able to take out 3 players throwing power clams at once. So Avalanche, what kind of snow pun can I come up with here, are just sliding down on OctoInkers. That doesn't work. But they're up 2-0 in this best of 5, rolling down the hill.
Well, I mean, Avalanches don't really roll, but yeah, it was a very dominant showing over OctoInkers, putting together some really nice pincers, working both sides of the map really well, and working with multiple angles of pressure at all times. They seem to be playing together and pushing forward together very, very well. That's going to take them pretty far.
Yes, and now we're going to move on to a Game 3 at Mako Mart Splat Zones. Compared to the other maps and modes that we've seen so far, this one's a little bit more traditional, you could say.
Yeah, you might see the slower comps actually coming out from OctoInkers play much, much more in their favor, which makes sense as it is probably going to be the slowest mode in the game. You could make an argument between Splat Zones and Tower Control, which one's really slower, but at the end of the day, both of them have very stationary objectives. So backline and anchor weapons are still viable. So that bamboo is still going to be very, very strong. Any sort of charger, the jet sculpture that they were using earlier, very strong. Splat Zones in general, actually, is going to play to OctoInkers just so much better. So we'll have to see how they're able to adjust and make the most out of it.
Yes, OctoInkers going to have to find a way to match that aggression that Avalanche has been throwing out at them. And it's safe to say we can already assume what their comp is going to be. That H3 has been working out really well. The Forge Pro, as opposed to the K Pro, has been working out really well for them. And we do see a Hydra coming out. And is that a range blaster?
That is
a range blaster. So, once again, a very aggressive comp coming out from Avalanche. And we're seeing, man, I don't know when the last time I saw a range blaster in competitive is. And it's going to be difficult to do considering OctoInkers has a double ink armor comp, but I guess it doesn't really matter if they keep getting the kills before the armor comes out.
Well, that range blaster essentially is going to act like a support weapon, right? So he's going to be able to work. Oh, those bombs are going to have to force him to back up. His teammate's still right there, so they can keep going. But yeah, those armors are going to be a huge problem for that blaster. But he's going to be playing similar, kind of like a support weapon. And with all the crevices on this map, it's actually a pretty smart pick if you know that the other team isn't going to have armors or be really anything that can deal with chip damage. Unfortunately, they pushed the wrong way in that Booyah Bomb. They did get the anchor, though, out of it, so that's huge. 2 down now. I stand corrected. The Inkjet coming out, maybe a little bit poorly timed, is he can't get a pick out of this. Unfortunately, he's not, so he's going to go down as well. That is 3 down. Very delayed. Make that 4.
Wow, yes. And Armor is ready to go for the side of OctoInkers, but it doesn't really matter now that the players are not alive, and especially without that Inkjet ready, as you see the Hydra going down immediately. It is a 3v3 situation right now, but Avalanche all over OctoInkers right here, and they're going to have a hard time stalling the zone if they want to avoid getting KO'd and swept in this opening round of Top Cut.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, it looks like they're just playing just a little bit too passive. Even with their slower comps, they've got to make sure that they put on some pressure. And that is going to be one of the more decisive sets that you're going to see today. Avalanche up 3-0 over OctoInkers.
And that will advance Avalanche to the winner quarterfinals, where they will await the opponent of the 1 versus 16 seed. For OctoInkers, the tournament is not done, though. This is the second time we've had the losers bracket, so their day will continue as long as they don't lose again. But overall, a pretty dominant performance from Avalanche against a team that did very well yesterday in Swiss, so not too shabby.
Well, neither of those teams are really new per se. We've known that they've been playing together for some time now, so Avalanche and OctoInkers both have some synergy. You could definitely see that in the way that they were playing together, the way they were pushing together. Avalanche, they were playing just a lot faster, and that was really the big difference maker. OctoInkers just didn't put on as much pressure. They waited for Avalanche to come to them, and Avalanche just had all the breathing room that they wanted. And unfortunately for OctoInkers in that last match, they just went down at the wrong times. So, you know, if I were OctoInkers, I'd say, you know what, skill-wise, we were doing pretty well, but we have a lot of major adjustments to make in how we position and move as a team on these maps. What can we do? Because this tournament's not over. You can make a losers bracket run and play against Avalanche again. If you end up playing against Avalanche again, you can say, hey, you know what? We can make this really big adjustment. Just play completely different and see how they adjust to that.
And the adjustment you and me are going to make right now, Astro, is to take a quick little break.
Yeah.
Maybe not a quick break, because our match went very quickly, so it might be a bit before round 2 of the winners bracket starts. But you are watching Top Cut in Low Ink July.